Welcome back to Daily Theory. I'm Charlotte, and we're so glad you could join us for our third episode.
And I'm Cody. It's great to be back. Today we're exploring the concept that feels, well, a little broken lately, the idea of progress.
Exactly. The title of this episode is What Progress Actually Looks Like in 2026, because the old definitions don't seem to fit our reality anymore. We're often told to look for big, visible milestones, but for many of us, life and work don't really operate in neat, linear steps.
Right. The traditional markers aren't as reliable. We used to think of progress as climbing a ladder, a new job title, a finished project, a goal checked off a list. It was tangible. You could point to it.
And this model has deep historical roots. For centuries, progress was about tangible things: a harvested field, a finished building, a manufactured product. The output of work was a discrete, countable object.
But today, many of us work in economies of information, coordination, or care. Our role is to manage platforms, align teams, or support others. These are continuous processes, not finite products. So the very nature of work has shifted from completing tasks to sustaining systems.
A clear before and after. But that model assumes a destination. It assumes there's an end point to the work, and once you get there, you've progressed. I think that's the core of the friction we feel now. We're searching for endpoints that may not exist.
So what does that old model look like in more detail? It's this cultural script, right? Progress is visible. It's loud. It's something you can announce.
Yes, it's a story of accumulation, gaining skills, gaining status, gaining certainty. The line is always supposed to go up and to the right. And if it's not, the cultural narrative suggests we're failing or stagnating.
And that failure feels very public. The cultural script isn't just about winning, it's about being seen to win. Your progress is validated by others: a promotion, a new house, a successful launch. Without those external markers, it's easy to feel like you're falling behind, even when you're working harder than ever.
That's a heavy expectation, especially when so much of modern life feels more like navigating a complex system than running a straight race. There isn't always a clear finish line to cross.
I think that's the perfect way to put it. The nature of our work and lives has shifted. We're often not building a thing that gets done. We're tending to systems that are in constant motion.
Yeah, tending to systems.
Think about it. Managing a team, raising a family, maintaining your well-being, even engaging in a creative practice. These aren't projects with an end date. They are continuous processes. Success isn't about finishing. It's about sustaining and adapting.
So, if you're looking for a milestone in a system that's designed to be continuous, you'll never find one. It's like looking for the final brushstroke on a painting that's meant to evolve forever.
It's like the difference between a builder and a gardener. The builder lays bricks, and at the end of the day, you can count the bricks. The wall is higher. That's clear, linear progress.
Right, but a gardener's work is cyclical and adaptive. They're tending to a living system. They prune, they water, they deal with unexpected pests. The progress isn't in a finished product, but in the continued health and vitality of the garden. A lot of the work is quiet, preventative, and responsive.
It's a much better analogy for modern work and life. You can't measure a garden's health by counting the leaves any more than you can measure a team's health by counting the number of emails sent. You have to look at the whole system: the quality of the soil, the resilience of the plants, the balance of the ecosystem. That's the real measure of progress.
And that difficulty is compounded by the problem of comparison. We see other people's finished products, but we're living inside our own messy process.
The highlight reel effect. We see the announcement of a promotion, the photo of a finished project, the launch of a new product. We're consuming a constant stream of other people's visible milestones.
We don't see the messy, frustrating, invisible work that went into achieving that milestone. We're comparing our own complex, chaotic internal reality, all the pruning, weeding, and watering, with their pristine finished product.
Exactly, and that makes progress incredibly difficult to perceive. It becomes invisible, hidden in the day-to-day maintenance. The work is in the subtle adjustments, the small course corrections, the stewardship of the system.
And our tools for measurement are all wrong for that. We're trying to use a ruler to measure the temperature of the room. A milestone based view of progress just doesn't capture the reality of stewarding a system.
Mm-hmm. It also explains why so many people can feel like they're working incredibly hard, but have nothing to show for it. The evidence of their work isn't the finished product, it's a system that didn't break down. It's the crisis that was averted.
Progress as prevention. That's a fascinating thought. You can't easily celebrate something that didn't happen.
You really can't. So, if the old model is broken and progress is harder to see, what does it actually look like? What are the new signals we should be attending to?
This is the core of it, isn't it? If we're not looking for finish lines, what are we looking for?
I think one of the most important signals is a reduction in volatility.
Okay, what does that mean in practice?
It means things are less chaotic. Maybe your weeks aren't swinging wildly between everything's on fire and everything is fine. The highs and lows become less extreme. There's a smoothness to operations, a predictability that wasn't there before. That stability is a form of progress.
Exactly. Think of it like a ship's captain navigating a storm. The goal isn't to find a single massive wave to ride to shore. The goal is to keep the ship steady, making constant small adjustments to the rudder and sails. The progress is the continued journey itself, the act of not being capsized. That resilience is the win.
So it's not about achieving a new peak, but about raising the baseline. Having fewer bad days is actually a more meaningful indicator than having one spectacular day.
Absolutely. Another sign is an increase in clarity. Not certainty, but clarity. It's the growing sense of what to focus on, and perhaps more importantly, what not to do. Progress can look like shedding obligations that no longer serve the system.
Knowing what to ignore, that feels powerful. It's like pruning a plant so it can grow stronger. You're not adding something new, you're taking something away to improve the health of the whole.
And a third indicator is fewer reversals. This is a subtle one. It means you spend less time undoing your own work. You make a decision and it sticks. The foundation you laid yesterday is still solid today. You aren't constantly revisiting the same problems.
That feels very real. The feeling of being stuck is often just reworking the same ground. So progress in this view is simply moving on to the next different problem.
Yes. So if we put it all together, this new picture of progress is about the quality of the system itself. Is it more stable? Is its direction clearer? Is it more resilient? These aren't dramatic, headline grabbing achievements. They are quiet internal shifts in the functioning of the whole system.
It requires a shift in perception then. We have to learn to see and value these subtle changes instead of constantly scanning the horizon for the next big milestone.
And that's really the heart of it. The feeling of being stuck might just be a measurement problem. We're progressing, but we're using an outdated dashboard. We're trying to measure the flow of a river with a yardstick.
I find that very reassuring. It reframes those quiet periods not as stagnation, but as consolidation. The system is getting stronger, more robust. That's real work, even if it's invisible from the outside.
It is. And maybe the most profound progress is developing the wisdom to recognize it, to be able to look at a calm, stable system and see that as the victory, not as boredom, not as a lack of excitement, but as the intended outcome of 1,000 small, correct decisions.
It's a more mature and probably more sustainable way of thinking about growth. It's less about dramatic leaps and more about the quiet accumulation of stability and meaning.
And that feels like a much healthier lens for looking at our lives in 2026. Less frantic searching for external validation and more gentle attention to the quiet hum of a system that's working well.
A perfect place to leave it for today. Thank you for listening.
This has been Daily Theory.